Remember when tier lists used to be popular? Everyone was making them for every imaginable group of things. And now they're completely forgotten and nobody cares about them. Well, being the very trendy person that I am, I decided to jump on the bandwagon 2 years late and make my own Megaminx tier list. I'll be going through a couple megas, ranking them, and explaining why I think they deserve that rank. Hope you enjoy. Hey guys, in this video I'll be ranking these 8 Megaminxes. I'm not going to be including some of the less relevant ones, such as the cheap budget Megaminxes, because all of these Megaminxes are ones that you could even consider buying as a good cube. So let's start here. This is the Diane Megaminx. I'll put it in S tier. It's certainly a very good cube, but I don't main this because I've had a couple of problems with it. For one, the friction between the layers is really inconsistent. Sometimes when I try turning it, it's effortless, but other times it somehow builds up a lot of friction and it's harder to turn. And this inconsistency in the layers makes it a little bit harder to solve on, and to me that makes it a little bit less than perfect, but it's still certainly a good cube. Another thing to note about the Diane Megaminx is that it barely has ridges, and it's very small. So if you have trouble gripping a Megaminx, then you might not want to get the Diane because it doesn't have good ridges. I've been able to turn pretty decently on it without ridges, but for some people, they might not want to use this. Okay, next up we have the MGC. It was good 2 or 3 years ago, but it corner twists too much and it's not really relevant anymore. I'll put it in B tier because I don't think it's that bad, but at the same time it's definitely not a cube that you should buy anymore. Next we have the Yuchin V2. This one's non-magnetic, and I'm gonna put it in C tier just because it's non-magnetic and it doesn't perform well. This isn't a cube that you'd really want to buy anymore. A couple years ago it was a good budget cube to start out with, but now we have the Yuhu, which is almost just as cheap, so this is not a relevant cube. The performance isn't great, it's kind of slow, doesn't corner cut well, so it goes in C tier. Next up we have the Galaxy V2. This is going to include the Galaxy V2m, LM, concave, whatever, sculpted. All of them are going to just be in the Galaxy V2. I'm going to put this one in A tier because even though it was released like 3 years ago, I can still get really good times on it and it turns great. Although the corner cutting does require more effort than some of these other cubes, I think it's still a very decent cube, but I wouldn't recommend buying this as there are better options now. However, it still performs well and it's fun to use. Next we have the Yuhu V2m. It goes in the S tier. I main a Unicube Yuhu V2m and it's worked great for me. Although it is a little bit larger and heavier than the Diane, it performs just as well. The ridges are a lot more prominent and it's easier to grip, but if you have small hands I wouldn't recommend getting the Yuhu just because of how big it is. But overall, the Yuhu has great performance and a lot of fast people main it. So in my opinion, the Yuhu and the Diane are the 2 best Megaminxes currently in the market, and a lot of top cubers use one of these 2 cubes. I prefer to use the Yuhu a bit more because it doesn't have some of the friction issues between layers that the Diane has, and the turning is a lot more consistent on it. Next we have the Yushen V3m. So I don't have this Megaminx yet, but I'm planning to get one soon. I'm planning to make a review about this cube sometime in the future, so subscribe if you want to see that. Next is the Aahoon Megaminx, and this is going to go in C tier. When this cube was originally announced, it was pretty hyped up because it had a spring compression system. And it was the first Megaminx, and I think it's still the only Megaminx that has spring compression. However, despite all of the hype around it, it basically sucked. I have one, and I've done about 1 solve on it because it's just so bad to turn. The magnets are so light, you basically can't even feel them in your solves, the layers misalign all the time, it's slow, and it's just not a good Megaminx at all. Finally, we have the GAN Megaminx. Even though this product is a GAN puzzle and it costs a lot, I'm gonna put it in B tier because I don't think it's as good as some people think that it is. I believe there's only one fast person who mains the GAN Megaminx. His name is Zayu or something, and well, good for him, but I don't think it's a good cube. The GAN Mega, it turns pretty well, but I don't think it can compare to the Diane and the Yuhu. It does come with the GES nuts to change spring compression, but that's not that relevant for Megaminx, and the springs in the Diane and Yuhu are perfectly fine and you don't have to change them. However, in terms of aesthetics, I think the GAN looks the best, and the Diane is a close second, because it's a GAN product, it always looks clean. But in addition, the ridges are also very shallow, and it gives the cube a much nicer look than when you're comparing to something with prominent ridges like the Yuhu. However, the performance isn't too great. When I use it, it locks up a bit, and I'm not really able to get my normal times in this cube. I definitely don't recommend buying this because of how expensive it is, and in addition, it's outclassed by both the Yuhu and the Diane. So thanks for watching this video, hopefully it could be of some use. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.